Shalom, and welcome back to Bnei Noach Academy, Thoughts on the Torah. Please remember to hit the like button, to subscribe, and most importantly, to share this insight and inspiration with friends and family. When you look in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 5, it says on the other side of the Jordan, in the land of Moab, Moses began or undertook to expound, to elaborate on this teachings, on this Torah, saying, what does this mean? He began to expound, he began to elaborate on the Torah. How exactly did he do that? Or what did he do exactly? Well, the sages tell us that he did something different than what he had done all the 40 years that he'd been in the desert. You see, for all the 40 years that Moses was teaching, Moses spoke in Lashon HaKodesh, literally translated the Holy Tongue, in ancient biblical Hebrew. That was the language they spoke, and that was the language they conversed in, especially when discussing words of Torah. But here, he began to expound on it. And for the next 37 days until his passing, Moses spoke to the Jewish people, not only in the ancient Hebrew, but in fact, in all the, quote, 70 languages, which are really the root, the source of all the languages that exist today in the world. Because you remember, originally, biblically, the world was divided into 70 nations. Each nation is characterized primarily, one of the things that characterize it is its language that creates its culture. Thus, Moses spoke the Torah in 70 languages. Now I ask you, think about it for a moment. What is the sense behind this? What does this mean? Why did he do it? In other words, think about it. All the Jewish people, contrary to what is the situation today, but back then, they only, or I should say even exclusively, spoke Hebrew, ancient Hebrew. If anything, perhaps a number of them, maybe even a majority of them, spoke Egyptian. But that's about it, because they lived in Egypt for so many years, so obviously they absorbed the language, the culture, and so on. But why would he find it necessary to speak to them in languages? Imagine him standing there, literally, it was Chinese to them. Literally, whether he spoke to them in English or in Spanish or in Greek, it was all Chinese and Greek to them. So why did he do it? Well, the answer is, and we, that is you and I, are the beneficiaries of it. The answer is that the Torah, true Torah, pure Torah, authentic, genuine Torah, has to be and can only be transmitted through Moses. Moses was the mouthpiece of God. And therefore, Moses, knowing that he's going to pass away, and now he's setting the stage for the next phase. What is the next phase? Where the Jewish people are going to leave the desert and leaving the wilderness and going into the, quote, to the settled land. And from there and through there, they will now begin to influence all of civilization. Till now, they were isolated from civilization, but now their purpose will be to enhance, to influence all of mankind, the entire civilized world. How do you do that? Well, through conversing with people, through communicating with the various peoples of the world. Now, these people of the world speak various languages. Now, if Moses would not have spoken these languages, would not have transmitted the Torah in these languages, then it wouldn't have really been possible. Certainly, it would not have been perfect, the transmission of the Torah into the other languages. In short, or in other words, the fact that Torah could be transmitted in any language is due to the fact that Moses at that point opened the way, so to speak, paved the way. He made a trailblazing effect of once at least having discussed the Torah, having transmitted the Torah in another language, in all these languages. Had that not happened, we would have not been able to sit here today and discuss Torah in the language that we're doing it, whether it's English, whether it's Spanish, whether it's Portuguese, whether it's Russian, whatever language that exists out there. The only reason that we could transmit Torah in that language is because Moses already had initiated that. Although at the time there was absolutely no direct benefit, the benefit was for thousands of years later. The benefit is for, and we see the results of it now, when there's such a great thirst and such a great desire for Torah. Now we're all benefiting from what Moses did 3,300 and something years ago.